uplift the people who are coming here on stage. Clap, smile, and embrace the stories that you are here for. Don't look for things that you want to listen. Look for the raw, unfiltered, sometimes the weird ways in which people live. That is how our reality is. It's not polished. Nobody has a perfect story. Nobody. The problem is we try to project it as, while the reality is it is not and never is a perfect story. I always tell this to people, whenever you hear a perfect story, remember, it's made up. It's never a case. That's the reality of it. So be vulnerable, show your authentic self, and we are all here to embrace your stories. With that, let's move into today's theme of kindness. The theme that I chose today, with regard to the definition, I'll just say, it is said kindness is defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. Please note, it is not being nice. It has an element where you go beyond being nice, where you are taking in effort and pushing yourself beyond your comfort for the ease and the good of others. When I was thinking of the theme of what I should be having today, I remember my therapist recently telling me that given the trauma or the challenges that you have faced, you will need a lot of kindness. You will need a lot of kindness to heal, and that is how you will get better. And to top that up, I read a study which made me decide on this theme of kindness. How many of y'all believe kindness makes the world better? How does it make it better? Who is better with kindness? The receiver? The doer? The person who's seeing? Now here's the study, an interesting study which tells who's the beneficiary of an act of kindness. There was a study which was done where they saw a person going and doing an act of kindness towards someone. While the person who was receiving, they saw an element of serotonin and their immunity boost, their health immunity boost, rise in that person as a person who's receiving an act of kindness. They were surprised then why? Why is it that the receiver gets this? Because they are hopeful of the world that without anything in expectation, they're getting something. But the surprising element, when they check the same things, the serotonin and the immunity boost of the person who's giving, they found an equal amount of boost in the person who's giving too. Funny enough, it didn't stop there. They did a check of even the people who were observing this act of kindness being done, and they found the same amount of serotonin rise and immunity boost even in the person who's just observing an act of kindness. Now you see the power of kindness is contagious. It is not just one to the person who's doing it or the person who's receiving it. It is also the person and the environment, and everyone who's surrounded there is benefiting from this entire act of kindness. And this is what made me feel. This is the theme. Today, I want each one of you all to look inside, look at elements or times in your life where you have been at the receiving end of kindness, or you have chosen intentionally and purposefully kindness over everything else that you could have, which is very much logical still. You could have chosen something else, but you still chose an act of kindness. Today, let's all together, with the stories that we hear, with the experiences that we hear, celebrate the power of kindness and what it can do to heal the world.
I'm Abhilash. On my way here, I was wondering how would I define kindness? And one thing that made sense to me is kindness is something one person would do for another, which is beyond reasonable expectation, that they don't really have to do it, but they do it beyond what is reasonably expected. And the primary motive of doing that is the very well-being of the other person. Because sometimes, for example, there are people. There was one case when a person was trying to teach me about fashion years ago, and he did it for free, but that's because he was trying to become a teacher in fashion, and I was one of his first. So yeah, it was more like a practice. I don't think that's kind. So the expectation is your own well-being. That's what I think. And I'm fortunate to have found many people in my life who were very kind to me, and that's why I'm this person. One instance was when I was doing my master's, and I was in Sweden, and I got my first job, but then I was having trouble because I'm in another country, you can't just work, so there's a trouble. And I had the darkest period for about a month where, everything, it was the worst moment of my life. But I got my first job, so I lived in a hotel for a month, and I knew the owners of that hotel, and then I moved to my own home. But then I had trouble, so I came back to the hotel to meet my old friends and talk. But this owner, who had nothing to do with me, I just paid him, and he gave me place. He just heard me over, and he said, what happened? And he asked me to come over, and then he listened to my entire problem, and then he was there for me the entire time. And he had to do none of it. He was not my friend. If anybody, it would have been my friends who would have done something for me. And that period really taught me a very important lesson, which I did not learn anywhere else. At that time, even though he was about 8 years older than me, he was like a father to me. He was there, and I felt very safe around him. I was 24 years old, away from home, and he gave me a feeling of a father, even though he couldn't have done much for me. But the very presence of him made things more peaceful. And that gave me a life lesson that I have even today, which is that I want to have my future partner or my future children to experience that sense of peace, that sense of safety, even though I may not be able to do everything for them, right? Imagine 20 people jump over. I can't fight all 20, but they should feel safe that I'm there, and they should know that I will be doing within my power everything for that. So that is a life lesson. Ironically or unexpectedly, I would say, that I learned a lesson of how to be a man, a better man, through that act of kindness. And that is very important, because in these days, if you notice, we don't have much examples of good men or strong men, right? If you watch Friends, none of the men you would look at them and say, this is an ideal that I want to be in. It's very rare to find those examples. I'm very fortunate to have experienced it. Unfortunately, I'm not that much in touch with that person, but the lesson that he taught me, the example he has showed me, lives with me forever. And he has absolutely changed my life, and I'm very grateful to him.
This reminds me of a story of, how many of you have read this book called Man's Search for Meaning? Viktor Frankl. He is one of the survivors of the Holocaust and a psychiatrist, a therapist. He had this instance where, I was reminded of this instance because of your story, of how from most unexpected ways you get hope. He had an instance where a lady in the middle of the night called him just to inform him that I'm going to commit suicide. And he gave all reasons why she should not be committing a suicide. He talked for him for hours regarding why she should not be committing, giving reason after reason. Then one of the reporter asked her, what was the reason that made her commit not to commit that suicide? What was that one reason? To which Viktor Frankl said, there was no reason. There was no reason except for the simple fact that somebody in the middle of the night was willing to listen to her story for so long and gave her a hope that there is a world which is there for me to speak to. And that in itself was an act of kindness, where you see that just the presence of someone somewhere, with the hope that there will be someone who will be there when I fall down, when I break, when I have situations. That hope is what made one person live that day. And that's a beautiful story where I felt it is not about some big things. Just being present by someone's side without even speaking a word is also an act of kindness. Thank you for that wonderful story. Let's move on to the next speaker.
I think, okay, so sometimes we can be vulnerable also just by telling the true story. This was happened during my college days. Okay, I used to go to my uncle's house. He was working as an auditor at the time, who was being one of the mentor even now also. And I got to know I got to know him that period only. Though he was my long relative, only because of job purpose, I just got introduced to him by my father, and then we got mingled also. One day when we were in a normal conversation, they asked me, Dinesh, you might be a good student, right, in academics. I said, Yes, yes, yes. I had to agree. And then they thought, I'm a good student actually. And then this was passing by. And then semester, finally I got completed actually. And one normal day they asked, Dinesh, you cleared all the subject, right? I said, yes, yes. Oops. That was the nightmare actually, I don't know how to behave at the time. I said yes actually. Then they started to, look job for me actually. He arranged the interview. I don't know how come possible, but the interview also got clicked actually, and they asked me to submit the degree, certificates of all those things. No time comes. I don't know what to do. Uh, this will never happen to anybody, right? Job is ready, a good package. Now course is not completed because I have two backlogs. What to do? He arranged it with all his support. This done actually. I don't know what to do. On 2 days I was thinking like anything, and the next day I opened up with my father also saying that I made I just lied to my uncle. Then he said go and admit the fact actually. I was in a very dilemma, so they go and tell him and all actually. Then at last I admitted, but he felt, Dinesh, you don't know how much effort I put up to get you this job. It was really, at the moment I was like, even now, at that moment I thinking like it's shivering to me, because it was very much tough at the time to get the job the way he did for me. But he told me one thing like, sorry, I made a mistake. I told him over the phone. I didn't go and meet him actually. I started to search for the call center job, and then there were so many other things I have tried actually instead of going to him actually. Then he told me that come and meet me directly. Then he said, Dinesh, yes, I'm being rude or strict for some reason, but not mean that you cannot be open up with me on these things. And then he started to explain me that how to overcome that backlogs, and then he supported me like anything, and then I cleared those things also. So that moment, with tuitions I have been taking, I was earning some good money. I thought like that's life is okay, but he told me that you should invest those time into developing your skills, which will reflect in a multiple benefit way. So that's the one, that's the moment I come to know this kindness is what meant to me, because if he didn't given me a second chance, I would not stand in the same position. But unlike you, I tell you in a funny way that what has happened is like this time all the arrears got cleared. Again, in the same company, he arranged the interview. But this time, the interviewers blasted me like anything. The same round table like this. Engineering manager, design manager, quality manager, production manager, they suited me with the questions like, what is the boiling temperature of water, and what's the difference between stainless steel, carbon steel, all those things that they asked. I don't know nothing. They asked me 47 questions. All I had to do is just note down all those things. Just go back to my uncle, Tyson. I said, you don't know. That is sometimes life gives you a chance. You should use it. Otherwise, you'll be going through all those things. But somehow I got a good job, and I started to read the books after my college days only. But all because of my uncle. The moment the word I see, that kindness, because of him, I am being at least being one person, and then I'm at least now able to transmit to this multiple level to the multiple people. It's all possible because that day he felt he didn't avoid me. He given me a second chance. So whenever you come across such a situation, please give a chance to the people. End of the day, we are all just human. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh. I think it's a beautiful story about how sometimes forgiving is also an act of kindness. I think with his uncle, because being an uncle is a different story, but it's a relative, so he could maybe he did not have a choice. But the fact is, people make mistakes. It is so easy for us to look at our mistakes as give one more chance, while looking at others' mistakes as no more chances. And I think we need to accept that it's human to err, and we need to give people second chances. And kindness also can take in this form, where you give another chance to another person. Thank you. Let's move to the next person.
My name is Naresh Reddy. So, like Rahul was mentioning, I'll come up with my own story. This happened a decade ago. I was in New Jersey. So there's a Palisade Mountain. I was an avid hiker. So there's a meetup group that I always go connect with people. So I was very lazy, typical Desi mindset. Let's go to Edison, have some biryani, or watch a movie. I have friends like that. They're all graduated, but they're at different age levels. But everybody had a common thing, like, you could play cricket. There are usual stuff. But there was one lady, Natalie Sangwe, I still remember her. and then shipping me, are you coming? Then I said, because we are like 100 miles away. She drove to my distance and she took me to the place. And then what happened was, there was another guy, he was Gujarati guy, almost in 60s. He got a caravan and he picked up people, like we were in 20s. So he picked up, like he said, I had a huge caravan, I can fit 7 people in there. And he drove 140 miles, New Jersey to New York. So everybody, accommodated. We went to Mithas, we had some snacks, some had thali, and then we moved with him. So I went there, and then we had to climb a mountain. It was almost 2,000 feet. And we went up, and I was carrying just a backpack with a plastic water bottle. It's probably some ounce, and it doesn't even weigh less than half kg. And then we were talking, we all climbed up. Everybody had ache pain, and then sweating. It was heavy summer. And then when we went up, there were no benches. So we were just standing, and it was cloudy. It started raining. Then I, subconsciously had a feeling, wow, what if there was a restaurant or something to have a tea stop. And then this guy took out the heavy duty flask. It almost weighed 5 kg from his backpack. He had a stick, the hiking stick, and also he had snacks and everything. He started giving to every single person there. And then he said, Naresh, can you hold the cups, plastic cups? And then I was serving everyone. He poured the tea for all. Then I said, save some for you. Then I said, I never have tea in my life. Then that shocked my mind, like how come this person with no habit of having tea brought like 5 kg of flask all the way up? And being me in 20s, I was just worrying about, I got a nut bar and then a water bottle. That too I was not able to carry as I climbed up. And then he was almost 3 times my age. So I was shocked, then I could derive that, sense of gratitude from him. Then that's the day I decided, you could have friends, but if you want to do something like a hobby, don't wait for your close associates. See the community, like whoever does RSVP, there are so many communities or, web pages. You could be playing chess, you could be singing, you could be dancing, you could be volunteering, right? You could be, campaigning for a NGO or whatever it is. Find people, out of your comfort zone, just go and do it. And that's a moment I thank these 2 people, Nathalie Sangvi, who drove me there. And then this person, I really forgot his name, but he's such a nice gentleman. So I was shocked. And then that's the day I changed my attitude. Like whoever is lazy like me, I started picking them up. Okay, we are hiking in Pennsylvania. Let's go. Have a car ready. I can, put 3 people in there. Then because they will at certain age, they will realize, So that is some story I closely remember. Like Avinash was telling, one thing, this is another story, I don't know if I had time, but I had a lady too in my life, who was my boss. I was consultant, but I never had that feeling. Her name was Visali Susan. She was also very kind, like I felt like a mother, because everybody used to call in the office as Amma. As she walks in, we felt that vibe. I was never connected with my own because the people are judgmental. But from the story Avinash has said, we always need to have a mentor, like somebody who is non-judgmental. So that's one thing. And then Rahul was said, like today we all have done such a great thing. We all have volunteered here in a way, because we all have our vulnerable stories and also our own stories, right? So, but we opened up, like Rahul was saying, we could have done something else outside, but we have come here for such precious thing, and we had a community in there, and we are sharing our ideas, which are very, pleasant and stand out, right, for in everyone's lives. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Just a thought that I had. How many of you all have people in your circles, in your own circles, someone who's always excited, always ready to help, only a phone call away, always there, and he's always doing something, and you always have that doubt. What does he want? And you are surprised that he's never asked you anything. It's just that they are like that. The question that I wanted to ask you is, while they are appreciative of you or being there for you, how many times has it happened to you that you have acknowledged and expressed your gratitude to such people? Because I've seen often the people who are like that are often the people who need it the most. It is not that they have it all, but they know the feeling of the absence of it, and so they are like that. And so I feel while by the end of today, I would want each one of you all to also do this one act where you go back, give a call, send a message unexpectedly to that person whom you remembered while I asked you this question, and thank them for who they are. I think they could be waiting for it, and they could be waiting for it for a long, long time. Let it come today.
Good evening, everyone. Myself Harika, and today I want to narrate a story, like a real story. See, it was a busy evening. I, along with my brother, going through a lane, and we heard a noise, a broken noise. Like we went there and we saw a small puppy, a white color cute puppy. His eyes is swollen, like he have been crying since like more than a day. And we didn't plan anything. We didn't think anything. We just took it to our home. And he started healing. We saw his tail wagging again. But deep down, I know that our journey together won't last forever, because we already have 2 dogs in our home. Then with a hopeful heart, we started searching a home for him. And fortunately, we found a happy home for him, and a kind family adopted him. And he got a good family there. And now, once in a year or once in a month, we'll get his pictures running in the garden, playing with them. And recently, after like 6 months or 7 months later, they adopted it. My mother went to that particular town for a function. And she thought that, okay, let's go there and let's see him, how he is. And surprisingly, he still remembered my mother. And I had a picture of that. See, this is my mother with that small puppy. We saw him when he was like not even a month old. Someone put there like in a cotton, we saw him there. And we didn't even discuss, we didn't even took the permission of our parents. I and my brother took it home. And now like we thought like we gave him a life. And I'm very thankful for that journey, like for the decision, and I'm very happy for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Giving a voice, having a voice for someone who doesn't have one, is a wonderful act of kindness. Thank you for sharing that story. I think we do come across rarely where someone who has not pleaded to you, seeking help, and yet you go ahead and do what you need to do. Thank you for that wonderful share. Who's coming up next?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Saikiran. So today can I speak about my job manager on Saturday night?
He's not here.
Okay.
We'll make sure the recording doesn't reach him.
I mean, is it allowed to talk? So I would like to mention about my manager, my current job manager. So it is instance where I would say kindness could be across many thousands of miles also. Instance of kindness. So I got my job in my current company, which is island based in COVID time through LinkedIn. So since then I have remote work, and my manager is from Denmark. He is also remote work. So since beginning of my current job, I have been working remotely and for almost 2 years. And then there was a brief phase of almost 2 months where I was suffering depression. During that time, I was in that shell, and I didn't want to work, or I didn't. There was a almost zero productivity in those 2 months, and I felt like I felt guilt even to receive my salary. So at this time I told, not for this 2 months, but in the starting of this 2 months, I told that I am taking this treatment for depression with my manager. So he understood my cause, and he told, if you want, you can take few days vacation. And yeah, I took for few days, and when I returned back, he didn't say any soothing words or any words of kindness. It was just normal. We were all having meetings and daily work and everything. And during this time, I noticed that I am not fit for this job. I totally have this, like I didn't, like we have every 2 weeks review meeting. And even for like almost 30% of meetings, I skipped just because I forgot or I dozed off. And this person, my manager, he handled the slides in few meetings, and sometimes he even took up my presentation even without me asking. And it is like he didn't directly show words or acts of kindness, but in the back end, everything was going fine in the company. Like meetings are happening, presentations happening, and things are running. And here I am sitting in depression cocoon, and I was just hibernating for most of the time. And somehow I felt, and by the end, I was doing well after 2-3 months, and I was feeling good, and I was able to concentrate again. So it went all smooth. And towards the end of the year, I remembered his act of kindness and whatever privileges of like taking a break, even though I didn't have those many leaves, those all things. So I gave him on Thanksgiving Day, I sent him a PayPal gift card, 10 euros. And he was like, no, there is nothing I did. You were doing good work. But I'm damn sure I didn't at all contribute. So, however, he told thank you. And yeah, he told it was good to hear that you are back and fine. So now I feel like I have this, I am obliged to whoever is working under me. I feel obliged to deliver such experience or such comfort zone where they could have this insulation that whatever things are wrong, everything should be going fine. So this is finally to conclude. I have seen many managers who helped me grow up in my career. So this is the only manager who helped me survive from crash in my career. So, thank you.
I'm not sure who wrote it, but if you're not willing to do more than what you're paid for, you'll never be paid more than what you're giving. Giving is one of the laws of the universe. If you're evaluating before giving, you're not giving, you're trading. So look at the power of his boss as a second nature. As a second nature, he didn't, like he mentioned, you were doing fine only. I'm not sure how many of us would do that for someone who's reporting to us. So ask yourself this question: how are you building people, not just as an employee, but as a human, and seeing situations and events like this where one act of kindness is where he builds a lifelong loyalty towards him. And that is what changes him and the person that he is today, because he replicates the same thing with the people that are reporting to him. So look at the ripple that is created with one act of kindness, and that's the power of kindness and how it is. Let me call Sneha next.
Okay, hi, my name's Sneha. I love listening to all your stories, and today I'm going to share a short story of mine, and I'm going to then do a small 1-minute poem. So I want to talk about my best friend Falak. I think she's somebody who epitomizes kindness to anyone and everyone she meets. She's this warm, bubbly personality who will envelop you figuratively and literally in a warm hug whenever she sees you. She's somebody I met in college, and it's been decades. We've still been best friends. One thing about her that always stayed with me was how she loved animals and how she loved all kinds of animals. How many dog lovers in the house? How many cat lovers in the house? How many bird lovers in the house? How many people who don't like animals at all? Well, I used to think I'm an animal lover. I love cats, I love dogs. But seeing her, I realized what actual love and kindness is. So in our balcony, there was an injured pigeon. And when the pigeon is injured, there were crows trying to, put their beaks. Crows are those crazy scavengers who want to kill even before the animal is dead. And it was literally like a cat and dog fight. She saw it in the balcony. She went and got a towel. She took that pigeon, and then she said, "Oh, this pigeon is injured. We'll have to figure what to do with it." And we luckily had space. So in one of the rooms, she took a box. She found some tissue paper. She placed the pigeon, and she waited to call to see what next steps. She used all her skills and called somebody who could actually take care of the injured pigeon. And you'll find a lot of veterinarians for cats and dogs, but not so easily for pigeons. So she found somebody on through Google who actually, God's grace, turned out to be somebody who was genuine. So she sent this person videos, she sent him photos of the injured bird and asked what are the next steps. And based on his advice, he said that you have to now find a way to send this pigeon to my veterinary clinic, which is about an hour away. And Bombay is a busy city. Everybody's got work, everybody's got their lives. In all of this, with her office meetings, she paused everything for that half a day to ensure that that pigeon is taken care of. She not only booked the Dunzo service, she called the Dunzo person. This is when Dunzo existed. To explain how do you take the pigeon safely, she found an old basket we could use. She tied it to ensure that it doesn't move away. She put some grains so that if the bird wanted to eat something, it's still taken care of. She then went, gave it to Dunzo, and this is where most stories would end, but not hers. She spent 2 months getting in touch with that person, checking in, and thankfully the pigeon survived. I have hundreds of pigeon stories of her doing some combination of this over time. And as much as I love animals, seeing her do this, repeatedly putting herself on the back burner and putting them at the forefront really talks about how kind and wonderful she is. So this is for Falak. And a quick short poem. Yes. The friends checking in during COVID, cousins visiting unexpectedly, bosses who just let you be. The napkin in the tiffin bag, the extra portion of my favorite sweet, the sharing of polo and tic-tac, long hugs when friends meet, little things that often repeat. The fights with the siblings, the chaatwala on the street, the song that only your heart sings, the train wali fourth or even fifth seat, little things that often repeat. The Antakshri in the school bus, the occasional diet cheat, moms and all their fuss, all things arranged neat. The yoga by the bay, the multiple assignment seats, the messages of good day, the social media and the tweets, little things that often repeat. Changes happen, we move near and far, but when we meet as humans, it's these little things that often repeat. Thank you.
Life has taught me that it is often these very little things that actually make the difference. When you talk of things which are about all the things that we aspire for, how many of y'all wanted to be a pigeon after listening to that story? How many of y'all want to have a palak in your life? Now the question is, whose palak are you? The question is, whose palak are you? what is it, that one thing? It could be a pigeon, it could be a cat, it could be a dog. There needs to be something in our life for which we are selflessly obsessed with doing and caring for. And I think that is where the meaning of life comes in. Something that we all are so passionate about, so much so that we are willing to bear pain for it, that we are willing to do more than just do something that we are going to get in return. So ask yourself, who are you that palak for? And it's a good question that you'll be answering.
Yeah, settle down. So, except the cameraman, you all are looking dull. So I have some smile. So my name is Hari. People often repeat my name, but this is not me. That's not Hari. Because I am something different. ये बोलना पड़ता है. And like the kindness stories, I have two stories in my part. So the first story that I wanna tell, that I come from a very rich family, so I do travel by bus. Okay, so it was a busy day for me. So I was doing the lectureship job in my hometown. So while returning back, so we people, the commuters, we do generally stand on the bus, and we were around 10 to 15 people were there who were standing like rich people, and so there was some discussions going on regarding the politics and all these world news and all. So during that phase, one simple guy, we were chit chatting with him. So he was telling that he was very dull, like just 2 minutes back you people were. So we generously, someone asked him that why you are dull, like. So he told a story. Okay, like, I am new to this town, like Berhampur it was. So it is a very long story, so let us shorten because the cameraman won't allow. And so he told that someone deceived him and took all the money that he had. Okay, and unfortunately or fortunately, I have 120 rupees, and that is enough for me to go our hometown. And from that to reach my village, I don't know what I will do. And his eyes were teary. I mean, within 1-2 seconds, tear may come out. In that stage, he was there. And the rich people, we were there. So one fine guy he was a vegetable vendor. Okay, I mean he hawker, vegetable hawker. Out of somewhere, he suddenly picked 100 rupees and gave. And I was again rich people, so I thought that I would give 30 rupees. So I gave that 30 rupees, and he accumulated all these things, and the smile on his face is, like it is Kajal in DDLJ. I liked his face because the kindness that we poured on him is truly worthy. The second story, time is there, right? The second story is like, I told earlier that I am a rich guy, so I do travel by train as well. So, and in the sleeper bogie as well. So I had a very hostile feeling for the transgenders. They collect money, and people from they deceive, they cheat from the handsome people like me, and I was very awkward feeling. So again, as I'm a rich guy, I was traveling. So the transgender was collecting money from all these handsome guys. So he was collecting. Okay, and there was a small boy, he's in the teenage, okay, in between 16 to 17, I guess. So he was collecting. So the guy, again, he was in the teary-eyed. So before the transgender asked, he gave a 10 or 20 rupees. And upon looking the face of the child, the transgender asked, because they never ask what is your feeling. They never ask, and to handsome guys they never ask. But to that child they asked, that the kid they asked that what is the problem. Surprisingly, I found that the guy literally crying. Yes, literally crying, and he narrated a story. Again, he won't allow, so I won't go to that story. So he told that he again robbed off the train, or someone pickpocket him, and he lost all the money, and he had that 20 rupees to give to the transgender, so he gave that. That day the feeling towards the transgenders changed. Is the transgender, not a 20 rupees he gave him. He gave, I remember, around 200 to 300 rupees. So from that day, I changed the mind. No, these people are the gem inside. They are collecting money and all these things, but that kindness changed the perspective. And I have another story, but you want. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always fascinating to have Harukrishna on the stage every time, because while we all often talk of philosophies and deep stories, vulnerable stories, which have different parts, but whatever be his story, he has a humor angle to it, and the way he presents it's wonderful. Thank you for that beautiful thing on stage. I was reminded of the similar situation when you said 100 rupees. I often wonder, how is kindness linked to how rich you are, or how rich are you with the kindness that you have? I went to a hotel where I asked milk for my child, and they said, at this time, with the availability, the charges are 100 rupees. While I was traveling by highway and I stopped at a dhaba, roadside dhaba, and I asked milk again for my child, and I asked how much. They said, we don't charge for the milk for the children. To top it up, he said, I'm not sure at this point in time where you'll get further. Take another bottle of milk so that it will help you in the further journey. Rich in purse or rich in heart? Kindness tells you who is what. Let's move to the next speaker.
My name is Sravani Ainampudi. So as you can understand from my name, I am a typical South Indian. But my dad was posted in a small town by then called Prayagraj, which is right now famous for the Mahakumbh that's happening there. The only two words that I heard in my childhood apart from my name was Madrasi, and the second one was Bitia. Because for North Indians, especially then, this is back in 98 to 2000, for North Indians especially, everything that comes to the bottom of the India, they are Madrasis. If not Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, every state that is there in the south, it's just Madrasi, you belong there. I know you can think that I am looking a bit fair right now, maybe because of the lighting, but I was not fair then. If not a Kala Jamun, I was at least a Gulab Jamun among Rasgullas, for sure. So everyone used to, just by looking at my attire, Madrasi, Tamilian, Malayali, or maybe a South Indian girl. One day I came home rushing to my parents that all my fellow mates and classmates just tease me by this name Madrasi. No one knows that it's Sravani. Even though they know it, I know even I pronounce it that way. It is Sravani, and I am calling it Sravani because that's how they used it at my grade, the North Indian fellow mates that I had. So I rushed home and told my mother that all this time they have been teasing me Madrasi, Madrasi, Madrasi. Is my name, is the hidden name in the report card or admission card Madrasi or something? And then she told me, no, you're not Madrasi. There is a place called Madras, which is now called as Chennai, but you're not a Madrasi. And then I was crying. We used to stay at a house, in a person's house for rent for just very minimal amount. It was just 1 bedroom house and kitchen. And we were tenants for them. They were typical North Indian Srivastavs. I did not even know how to call auntie by that time. I used to call her Ani. And even till today, I call her Ani. She is 70 years old. Touch wood, she'll stay for another 30 years. And She came in and then she was like, why are you crying? They're just calling you Madras. No, everyone is teaching me Madrasiani. And then she was like, she told Bitya, if you don't know what Bitya means, it's the synonym of a daughter in Hindi. She said, Bitya, itni choti si baat ke liye itna kyun rona? Why are you crying so much for this thing? It's fine, let them call Madrasi. हाँ Madrasi है तो क्या है? ऐसे बोलो ना तुम. From the next day, that actually changed my perspective. She was very kind. My sister was admitted in hospital one day. My parents rushed her to the hospital. She was hospitalized because she had pani puri outside. And then I was the only person at home, and I think I was somewhere around maybe 3rd class or 4th class. She took me to her home, just the beside home. I stayed with them for a week. Not just she took care of me just like as if she was my own mother. She woke me up in the morning, dressed me like maybe a very good doll in the school uniform, feeded with the best food that I had. That 1 week it felt like it was a holiday for me because I did not know my sister was that serious in the hospital. This is all the backtrack story that I hear from my parents. So when I hear it from them, I feel the kind of kindness that she had shown towards me is so special. She took care of me as if I was her own daughter. Right now also she remembers September 14th and does not forget to call me on my birthday and like, Sravani, happy birthday Bitya. And I wait for that call every birthday. I literally wait for that call every birthday. And then when she fed me with the best food. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a North Indian food lover. I go to North Indian restaurants in Hyderabad searching for that flavor wherever it's possible. So it's all because of them, because of that kindness that they show towards me. And this is all for them. Ani and Uncle Ji, I love you so much.
Thank you. How many of you all have someone in your life who's not a relative, who's not someone who's come by blood relation, or not even a friend, some stranger and some relationship that's formed, and at a certain point in time, you were so into their life, and today it's completely apart. I still remember while my daughter was born 6 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere I had a feeling that the nurse who gave birth to her, while she grew up for 3.5 years, I took her to that nurse. Remember her? She said, I remember you. She was not like this then. But the point is, when people do, like your aunt, like Annie, I think we all have those kind of people in our life who have that unfiltered love for us without any desire for what they're getting out of it. Like someone else also shared a story, always look at, see how you can get back to them, how you can connect with them, you can spend some time with them, because that is something which is raw, unavailable today in the world anywhere. And if you have it, don't lose it.
I'm always the topper of the class. When I mean the topper of the class, niche se dekho. So that topper of the class. So, I have 100 complaints from all the teachers. I am not listening to the class. So one of my friend, he wants change in me. I should start focusing on studies. He always used to think that way. I was like that person. What studying and all that was my kind of thing I had. So one day my maths ma'am, that we used to have that school diary, we write, the teachers write all complaints. He has not completed maths homework for 1 week, something like that was mentioned. Another is regarding some science homework thing also, again my science sir also mentioned, and I didn't show it to my parents. So after 2 days, we had that chemistry exam, so some formulas we had to study. So here, my friend, he wrote the formulas and gave it to me. After that, and that in behind he wrote the paper. Make him read those formulas, and I intentionally saw if something is written or not. Did he mention about that thing and all? So, but it was not mentioned. So I studied, and okay, that exam was over. Then after 2 days, another exam, he gave a paper, and there in behind he wrote that to my parents that that about that max and science complaint. So I saw it, and just I hid it. Again after a day, so he saw my mother in the school, and he told upfront that what happened and all, and I got nice beatings in my house for hiding this quack. Next day I was very furious. No, I went ahead and told to him that don't interfere in my life. Something like that I told in that anger. So I was very young and didn't realize what I was doing was kind of wrong. But after 1 or 2 years, when I looked back after that, after changing my school, and everyone were saying me as dumb and all, and after that I got the desire to read and all. So at that time I was remembering him, like he did the right thing. I was the one, I wasn't understanding at that point of time. So so this was a story, but unfortunately the thing is I couldn't say sorry to him, and he's not even in touch to me. But this kind of memory, I had that regret, or I should have been a bit considerate. But at that point of time, I acted more on frustration, I would say. So, but that's the reason probably I remember this story till today, and I will remember it forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Srikrishna. Kindness of a different kind. But isn't that kindness? Probably sometimes we are not able to digest the kind of kindness that we are getting, which could be the right one for us. But yeah, a different kind of a story. Thank you, Srikrishna.
Good evening, I am Mallikarjun, and I resonate with the thoughts of Rahul, that to be kind, you don't need to be a rich person. But most of the time when we stand at the junctions and all this, people will be coming for asking for help. How many of you said like this, get away, or you just close your door when you are sitting in a car? So most of us have done that. But for the first time, I realized how difficult it will be asking a help to some other person. Let me narrate one of my recent incidents that has happened. Recently, I traveled to a place called Saleshwaram. It was a temple located in Srisailam, and it is a 10 kilometers of trek. And that temple opens only for 3 days in a year. There is a huge crowd, lakhs of people that have come, 3 lakhs in a day. We went in a troop of 40 people, but surprisingly, all those 40 people got scattered. Our team lead, who has to support us with medicines and everything, he was nowhere to be seen. And while I was returning, there are no phone calls. You cannot make any phone calls, no signals, nothing. While returning, I was really so much tired, I was unable to trek. I have to do everything all alone. No water with me. All my water is over. I have to beg for water, at least 3 to 4 people. I don't know who they are, strangers. Barely, that is the act of kindness. They have helped me with the water. That is the reason I could come. Then I realized that really, strangers sometimes they help. Sometimes we feel that we don't feel like helping others, but if you do help others with the small little things, that will have a lot of effect. So I would say we all are talking about kindness, but I don't know how many of us really practice that in our life. But doing small little help, whatever it is possible, it will have a ripple effect on other people also, and other people will also get benefited and help from that. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sharbhangi. This is my first time coming here. And thanks to Abhilash, he dragged me here. I didn't want to come. So my kindness story comes from, of course, a relative, my Nana. I have always been a difficult kid to handle. I will always fight with my father, my mother, and everybody. So even my relatives and everybody will say, no, listen to your parents. They will tell you the right path, what you what you should choose and what you shouldn't. But there was one day I was telling my mom, no, I want to do and I want to choose something that I want. So she was telling, no, you shouldn't choose. What I'm telling, I am a person, I'm older to you, I have experience. So you should do what we say. So at that time, my Nana was also there. So I thought, now he's also going to tell me the same thing, don't fight with your parents and everything. So he called me, he was like, come here. So I was like, I was very tired and I was like, I don't want to talk. So he was like, no, come once. So I went there and he was like, do you know, being a woman and trying to choose something in your life, everyone is going to stop you. I'm not saying do whatever you want to do, but being a woman, people won't support you that much. Even your mom won't support you that much. So you should choose something that you want in your life. It was the only time, it was the first time that my Nana talked to me. Usually he's not a very, what we say, very, he's not an emotional guy. He's a very, like, he has his own life. He's a very strict in his lifestyle. Yes. So this small thing, it was when I was in 4th or 5th standard, this thing happened. And after that, I feel like I never feel guilty about choosing something, or even in failing something, I don't blame anybody because those decisions are mine. Even I failed in a lot of things, but still I don't regret anything. And this was the lesson that he taught me. Thank you.
Hello, hi, I'm Rama. I'm a little bit loud. I always get this, suggestion. Yeah. When I see this theme, kindness, I did not know really the meaning of this kindness. Still recently experienced some of bit emotions in my journey. My father was sick. He was hospitalized. He was in ICU for almost, I would say, 25 days. I did not know how to show that emotion. I am the only breadwinner of my family. They completely depend on me only. Then my entire family shifted to Hyderabad because of my father. Initially, when he was in the ICU, I used to go my home. Then it's very difficult to hit the sack when your father in ICU, when your mother, your sister with him on the waiting hall. I used to cry. My blankets full of these tears. In that process, I did not know the main recipe to get out of the sadness, answering your friends and your family members' call. Initially, I did not attend the calls because I was very angry at somebody I don't know, whether it's my father, otherwise my situation. That was December 31st. Everybody, they are celebrating this New Year. My father, I was not there that time. I was at home. He told my sister, maybe I could not see the New Year with you guys. Then there was a video call. He was speaking like so many things. Maybe he thought he did not even pull off the tomorrow. Luckily he survived. We felt very happy. Then after that one, I came to know the reality. When you are under pressure, you have to take help from others. You just listen to your friends. You just, sometimes when you are feeling, searching for something in your life, maybe it is not about money. It is about something, a listening ear, or something, when you are doing something exceptional, a patting on your back. That is the main thing in my life I experienced. Whenever my friends facing an issue, I am the only person now. I am taking the initiative to contact that person, to show the story, what I have felt, what I have experienced in my life. Before closing this, this kindness and everything, recently I read one quote. Completely blanked out right now. Yeah. Your worth, isn't it measured by what you achieve in your life? It's who you will become in that process. The real victory isn't it reaching the finish line, but who will become in that process. I think the character outlasts everything in your life. The character we should maintain. I think the character is the kindness, I think, in my opinion. Thank you. Please be kind. Who all are left? Raise of hands. She's done, Ray. Okay, I'll just wait for him. Yes, Akanksha. Before I go to her, I'll come back to you, to your story, in my closing remarks.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Akanksha. Hi. So, there are two kinds of kindness here. Okay. So, there are two kinds of kindness I want to talk about today. One is the kindness that you receive from people. I have the certain belief that each bond or each good bond that you share in your life has someone being kind to you and you being kind to them in return. Each time you are crying and there is a shoulder offered to you, like Rama sir shared, or each time just a listening ear that you get, I believe that it is people being kind, because love is not easy. It is not easy to always be there for people. Sometimes you'll have to put your own needs aside and be there. So I believe that is a sort of kindness as well. There is another main kind of kindness that most of us forget about. It's being kind to yourself. How many of you have these days when you just couldn't get up from bed, or just couldn't eat that one meal, or felt like skipping meals? So definitely, right? So each time you chose to get up from bed, wake up, do things, or just have that meal and have one quiet day for yourself, or each time you believe that you take the rest that you need, I believe that is a form of kindness as well. Often we end up getting lost in this drive to be kind for other people, and we end up forgetting altogether that there is some part of us that also needs the same kind of kindness. It doesn't always come from other people. You don't always get the kindness from other people. There has to be something from yourself. There has to be something from within as well. So yeah, these are the two kinds of kindness that I wanted to talk about today. So all of y'all here, be kind to everyone. It is vital. But at the same time, please be kind to yourself as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. 2 years back, I have started a supermarket 84 kilometers from here. This district called Jangaon. So we were managing from here remotely. We have recruited staff to run that supermarket. So whenever I was there, everybody was very active and they were very passionate, working with the clients and everything. There was one lady we have recruited. She was not well educated, but she was having some experience in supermarket. So whenever I am here, I used to watch in CCTV who is working and who is not working. So when I was there, the many people was so active, but when I was not there, so they were just chit-chatting and they are not taking care of the customers and this thing. But this particular lady, she was very attentive and she was more active when I was not there. She was very punctual. She was coming on time, even 5 minutes before we opened the shop. And she was very kind to everybody. So they were actually abusing her, the kindness. So whenever they want to go for holiday or something, they were approaching, Akka, please, can you take my shift? So she used to come. She never said no. So when we saw her, she is very kind. She's very disciplined. Though she was not very educated, but she was taking caring for everything. So everybody was loving her. So what I did, after a few days, I made her a supervisor. From that day, her life became miserable. whoever, they are loving her like Akka, and they are so kind to her. They start fighting with her. They are making her, the unnecessary creating problem, and they are coming and complaining to me also. Sir, why you made her? She is not well educated. She don't know computer. She cannot work as a cashier. So then I asked her, what's your problem? I mean, till yesterday, you are so happy with her. She was helping for each one of you. So now why you are complaining? The only thing, because we made her a supervisor, they don't want to accept her because she is less educated than the other people. But still, she never take a revenge. She was helping everybody. What happened after a few days? I mean, we closed the supermarket. But before we closed the supermarket, she was not working on the cashier and this thing. So what I did, I want to help her to teach how to work in the cashier, how to make the billing, and how to make the labeling and everything. She said that, okay, if I teach you, can you willing to learn? She said, yes, I'm willing to learn. And she was working very hard. And believe me, she became one of the best cashier. And she learned computer, and she worked very hard. Though she don't know, she was not even, I think, SSC passed, but she worked very hard to learn computer and everything. Then everybody realized that, she is better than them. So they cannot complain now, she cannot make the billing and cashier and all these things. So she was managing very well. So due to some other reasons, we have closed the shop, and who was very loyal at that time, was showing their dedication. They are the first one who run away when we have decided to close the shop. But this lady, she not only stayed with me until we closed the shop, even after I closed the shop, because that was in my own premises. So she stayed there until I gave that premises to rent. She stayed there with me. So then I asked, everybody is looking for a job. You have experience now, cashier work and everything. Why don't you go and look for another supermarket? She said, no, sir, I will stay. Why? Then she said, no, sir, you are the one who give me the chance to learn this computer and all these things. So look at what happened. Because of her kindness, she stayed until that. But in the market, everybody was watching that, how she is loyal, how she is dedicated. One person, he was our customer. He was coming regular to our shop. He was working in the the collector office. So what he did, after we give the shop for rent and everything, she was not working. Then one day he came and approached her. What you are doing, sister? She said that, no, now I have to look for a job. So this person, because of her dedication and honesty, he helped her getting some grant from there's some schemes are there for the women empowerment. So he helped her, and now she is the owner of the artificial jewelry shop she have started. So whatever the kindness she have done, that has returned back to her. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that story. I think it's a wonderful reiteration to all of us that kindness is not a strategy. It's not a one-time thing that we can do to get or reap the benefits. And I think it's a beautiful thing where we see stories like this where kindness is rewarded, and rewarded after a long persistence despite nothing working out.
Hi everyone, my name is Aniruddha. The reason I did not want to speak is because I do not know what this setting is like. And since I read the topic last day, kindness, and I know Rahul likes personal stories, so whatever he'll do, he will want personal stories in that. So I've been thinking of personal stories all day of kindness, and I couldn't come up with anything that was recent. Every kindness story I'm getting, that's too far back. I asked my wife, she's known me for a long time. I asked my wife that, can you tell me a story from my life where I was the recipient of kindness? And she was cooking all day, so she was like, I cooked for you all day. Passive aggressive. But anyway, I've been still thinking, I've been hearing stories, hoping something will pop up in my mind, and everything that's popping up is popping up too far back. Nothing's coming recent. And that's got me thinking, has it really been that I don't have too many acts of kindness towards me in the recent times? But I feel I have a different theory. What is the opposite of kindness? Indifference, selfishness. But that's the opposite of kindness from the giver's end. What is the opposite of kindness from the receiver's end? It's expectation. My wife cooked for me. The first time she cooked for me, I was really happy. I told her, "You're very kind, thank you for cooking." I did not tell her today. Did the act change? The act never changed. What changed was my expectation of the act. Kindness is very different from something like anger or happiness. That has a proper scale, like I'm less happy, I'm more happy. Any act of kindness is the same from the giver's end. What we perceive it is based on our scale of expectations. So, just as an example, I have spoken in many places where Sneha is sitting in the audience. And she'll keep on nodding, she'll keep on nodding, she'll keep on smiling. To me, that's become expectation, like I know she will. The act has not changed, but anyone who speaks here for the first time will definitely look at her and feel she's so supportive, she's so kind. It's not changing on her end, it's changing on who's receiving it. So, if you want to get more acts of kindness towards you, they're happening all the time. Just change your level of expectations, you will find kindness in the world. Over to you.
This is the kind of a different take that we often look for, and that's what, thank you for gracing this and sharing that different insight. Anyone else left? Pakka? That's okay if you're not comfortable. I'll come to you in the conversation part of it. So, beautifully said regarding kindness. Everybody wants to save the world, but nobody wants to do the dishes for the mother. Ask yourself, when you talk of kindness, why is it that we think of something big, donating money, doing some big things is what comes to our mind when we think of kindness, while what Aniruddha just mentioned. It is often these small acts, small little nudges, which we may not consider. If we look at it as expectation, we may not consider even as act of kindness to be there. And so the question is often, how can we first lower our expectations with regard to what is happening to us, what are we deserving? How many of y'all, okay, this is an interesting thing that I do. How many of y'all feel that the signal always gets red before you are reaching the signal? Yes. There was actually a statistical study done on this. If you're feeling unlucky that the signal gets red just before you're there, it's because of our negative bias. We think anything bad which is not happening or something which is not supportive of me is because I'm not lucky. While statistically speaking, it was actually observed, the ratio-wise, proportionate-wise, percentage-wise, equally there were a number of times where just after you crossed, the signal turned red. Looking at the analogy, how many times do you think things that are happening to you are because you deserve them? From the angle of expectations, that you get this because you acted on it, not realizing that it could be an act of ripple that is coming to you while you are able to only see the things which are not happening while not acknowledging the things which are happening. We are all surrounded with acts of kindness which are hitting us, but our underlying belief is that this is what I should be getting. And so we do not feel that gratitude for what is happening to us, which is good, but feel bad for the fact whenever the signal turns red, that something wrong is happening to me. Now comes the two stories of Rama and Akanksha. Having people by your side is a blessing. Somewhere I've always, all through, for a long time, whenever I've started to feel that, okay, I need to be kind towards the world and I've started to be one, I often don't like to talk about my acts of kindness, but somewhere down the lane, I've come to believe that whatever goes, comes around. Today, when I look at different instances in my life, which I'm not taking as granted that this has to happen because I've put the effort into it. It is happening to a large extent, different times, different challenges, business, personal life, relationship, different challenges, wherever I'm facing, I'm always somehow blessed with the outlet out of that. 2 days back, I was in a situation where I was completely perplexed and out of my mind. I decided to have this open mic on Monday, and on Friday, on Thursday, I was not sure whether I should be doing it or not. I was in that complex state of a mind. For people who know me, 2023 year was a bad one for me with mental health and a lot of other challenges which came through. Parts of the story, once I went out of it is when I realized the people and the blessings that I had around me which helped me get out of it. Even today when I'm facing a few challenges, I am somehow out of no thought of what I did, when I did, I have people around me asking for me. There's a friend, my MBA friend from 2008, she saw me active on LinkedIn for 5 months until March. 3 days back, she messaged me, I don't see you active on LinkedIn for the last 2 months. Is it just a digital detox or you're just busy? I hope it's nothing else. Just because she didn't see me active on LinkedIn for 1.5 months. I was pretty active, almost posting every day and sharing content. But the point is, we don't know where our blessings come from. And that is what I wanted to share with people who are there when you are planting. Kindness, when I look at it, it's like planting trees. You won't bear the fruit today. And you'll never know who's going to bear the fruit. But somewhere I think it is there's this famous saying which is about the givers and takers. They say the takers eat well. The takers eat well, but the givers sleep well. I've often felt this, I don't know how universe works or how it has been in a different form of a blessing just because I'm able to see it. I can see that senselessly, without any logic, someone somewhere popping out for me at a time when I was least expecting it and I was in a complete mess. That's how it has been. 2 days back, right now, when I said, my friend, I was in a bad state where I was thinking what to do. I went for a dinner with a couple friend of mine, Abhishek and Shweta. After the dinner with their kids, they said the kids to go and sit in the car. And they asked me once when I came there and once while I was leaving there, how are you? While I was leaving, they asked me, how are you again? They locked their kids in the car and stood outside the hotel where we had the dinner. The kids in the car stood there and told me, talk. What's happening? And it is out of nowhere, while I was in a mess, that they could see that I need to talk. And somehow there have been blessings in my life. One, Akanksha, although she's just, I'm again sorry with the number, 18, 19, 20, whatever it is. I've known her since she was 14. She was the first member who attended the session on 23rd May 2020 in the Speak Up Club open mic. She's been consistent all through these 5 years and been a part of the club. And she's more like a family now. Despite she's half my age, I think she's more wiser than me, double my age. And there are times when, with a change in my voice while I'm talking of program or whatever we are doing, she can sense, I can feel you're better today. Or I can feel that you are, tell what's happening. And I think that's the reason why I'm sharing all this is because I don't know how universe works, but it is all a game of giving and taking or receiving. You don't know where you're going to receive from, how you're going to receive from, who's going to receive. But if you are net giver, you will always receive. That's the law that I've seen working as a blessing for me. You never know the impact that you have on those around you. You'd be surprised when someone calls you and tells you that day, that word, that line that you said saved me on that day. That smile, that hug, that deep talk. Don't wait for someone to be kind. You never know how much someone needs it now. But I'm right now on depression pills. And I'm standing up here and sharing with you all. Before I shared this, how many of y'all could guess the state of mind that I am in and how much kindness I need? Nobody. And that's how it is with the world. That is how it is. You never know who's going through what. But I'm sure The world is a cruel place and it makes or pushes, and like it said, life happens to people. You never know who needs that small act of kindness from you, that small smile, or just that waiting for someone after you say, how are you? And seeing that gap in between, I'm okay, and then making them talk. That's the power of kindness and what the world needs to heal today. There's a line by Taylor Swift, no matter what, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful legacy to leave. No matter success, no matter money, no matter fame, at the end, what will be remembered and the stories, if they are talked or not, will be how kind you are to the world and to the people around you. I can put my neck on the line and say this: one act of kindness every day, that's all that you got to do. Be a blessing, and you will never need to pray for yours. Thank you, each one of you all, for sharing your acts of kindness, your stories of kindness, and I think each one of you all have planted a thought, an idea, a desire to be kind in this world, and I think that makes a difference. While we move to the next segment, after a short break, we'll be just having a small discussion on the little things that we can do, not with money, but with small acts of kindness that we can all collectively think of, agree to, and do, with which, with the small power of people that we have today, can create a big wave of kindness around the world. That's where it ends, or I would say, that's where it starts.